Welcome, my beautiful family and friends, with all the love, light, and endless blessings in my heart. May your hearts always be filled with warmth, your souls with peace, and your lives with love. May every dream you hold dear come true, and may kindness, joy, and success follow you wherever you go. I pray that happiness never leaves your doorstep, and that you always find love in the moments that matter most. May this story bring you closer to the magic of love, the depth of emotions, and the beauty of a heart that never gives up. Dear family, I pour my heart and soul into every word I write, working tirelessly every day to bring you the most beautiful, heart-touching love stories. But lately I've noticed that the views are going down day by day, and it's truly disheartening. I'm here because of your love and support, and I need your help now more than ever. If you enjoy my stories, please support me by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. It means the world to me, and will help me continue writing for you. Tell your friends and loved ones about these stories, and let's grow this beautiful family together. Also, don't forget to comment below and let me know what you thought of today's story, your thoughts, your favorite moments, and how it made you feel. I love reading your comments and connecting with all of you. Now, without further ado, let's begin today's story, a tale of love, passion, and the kind of romance that stays in your heart forever. Elena had always possessed a quiet inner light, a gentle warmth that belied the harsh realities of her daily existence. 2 years into her marriage with Victor, she found herself trapped in a relationship that offered little more than duty and indifference. Their union, arranged more for convenience and the expectations of those around them than for a genuine emotional bond, had slowly eroded Elena's self-worth. Each morning, she woke to a home that felt colder than the night before, where the silence between them was heavier than any spoken word. Victor, a man of few emotions, seemed content to perform his marital obligations mechanically. He never reached out to comfort her during moments of despair, nor did he offer the affectionate warmth that Elena craved. Instead, his eyes were perpetually distant, a reminder that in his heart, her presence was little more than an expected formality. In the solitude of her thoughts, Elena often questioned what it meant to be truly loved. Was there a place in the world where one could be seen for who they really were? As days blurred together, the absence of intimacy and caring gestures left her feeling invisible and undeserving. Her heart, once full of hope and possibility, now bore the scars of neglect. Every smile forced in the mirror and every tentative laugh echoed the unspoken question: would she ever experience the tender passion that she so deeply yearned for? In the shadows of a loveless marriage, Elena's inner world was a battlefield of conflicting emotions. There was the crushing weight of despair and the faint, persistent whisper of a desire to be cherished, a desire that had been locked away by years of indifference. While Victor remained ensconced in his routine of detachment, Elena's spirit slowly began to stir, hinting at the possibility of change. Unbeknownst to her, the seeds of transformation were already being sown, a catalyst that would challenge the very foundation of her existence. As the silent ache of loneliness intertwined with her dreams of a more vibrant life, Elena clung to the hope that something or someone might eventually shatter the suffocating monotony of her days. This hope, fragile yet persistent, would soon be tested in ways she never imagined. In the midst of Elena's silent struggle, a striking new figure began to loom on the horizon. Julian, a man known as much for his commanding presence as for his undeniable charisma, had long observed the world from a different vantage point. His reputation in business was formidable, and though he was Victor's rival in the corporate arena, Julian's interest in life went far beyond profit margins and boardroom tactics. He carried himself with an air of confident passion, a stark contrast to the cold indifference that defined Elena's current life. For years, Julian had harbored a secret fascination with her, drawn not only by her quiet beauty, but by the untapped reservoir of strength he sensed hidden beneath her fragile exterior. Every time their paths crossed at business events or chance encounters on city streets, Julian felt an inexplicable pull, a magnetic urge that compelled him to look beyond the surface. There was an ineffable quality about Elena that resonated with him, a blend of vulnerability and resilience that set her apart from the superficial acquaintances populating his world. In his eyes, she was a canvas of unspoken stories, waiting to be revealed through the brushstrokes of true care and passion. With each passing moment, Julian's fascination grew into an obsession, a conviction that he was meant to be the one to rescue her from the desolation of her current life. Though his professional rivalry with Victor had long been a battleground of wills and strategy, Julian's interest in Elena was entirely different. He saw in her the possibility of a life replete with genuine warmth and authenticity, a life that he, too, yearned for, but had never been able to grasp amidst the demands of his own high-powered existence. His heart, usually guarded by a veneer of impenetrability, began to soften at the mere thought of her smile. In private moments, Julian would imagine a future where Elena's eyes shone with the light of someone finally seen and cherished for who she was. This growing desire to claim her, to show her what it meant to be truly loved, set in motion events that would irrevocably alter both their lives. Even as the world around him buzzed with the usual clamor of ambition and rivalry, Julian made a silent promise to himself. He would no longer stand by as an onlooker to Elena's pain. The passion that stirred within him was not born of fleeting attraction, but of a deep-seated belief that every soul deserved to be treasured. And so, with a heart full of determination and tenderness, he prepared to step into her life, ready to defy the cold norms of the past and ignite a future filled with warmth and ardor. Elena's life had grown into a pattern of resigned routines until one fateful afternoon shattered the fragile remnants of her complacency. While tidying through a neglected drawer, she stumbled upon a series of whispered secrets, letters, texts, and discreet photographs that spoke of betrayals hidden in plain sight. The discovery that Victor, the man she had devoted herself to, had been unfaithful was a piercing revelation. In that moment, every quiet evening and every hollow promise transformed into tangible evidence of a man who had never truly seen her. Shock gave way to a torrent of emotions, anger, sorrow, and an overwhelming sense of betrayal that left her trembling in disbelief. The realization that the person she had trusted with her heart had chosen convenience over compassion was both devastating and liberating. As tears streamed down her face, Elena felt the last vestiges of her old self begin to crumble. With each piece of damning evidence, the prison of her loveless marriage disintegrated, replaced by an urgent need to reclaim her dignity and self-worth. The betrayal was not just an act of infidelity. It was a final crushing blow to the illusion of a life she had once dared to hope might one day change. In the aftermath of this painful discovery, Elena stood at the crossroads of her destiny. The once faint ember of hope was now ignited into a roaring flame of determination. With a trembling yet resolute heart, she resolved to leave behind the life that had confined her, to break free from the shackles of a relationship devoid of love. The decision to file for divorce was not made lightly. It was the culmination of years of quiet suffering and unmet needs. Yet, in that defining moment, Elena realized that her worth was far greater than the shadows of neglect and deceit that had haunted her for so long. Though the path ahead was uncertain and fraught with the fear of the unknown, the promise of a life unburdened by betrayal beckoned her forward. In embracing the pain of her past, she found the strength to step into a future where she would no longer settle for a life that diminished her spirit. The turning point had arrived, ushering in an era of self-discovery, healing, and the tantalizing possibility of love reborn from the ashes of despair. In the weeks that followed the shattering revelation, Elena embarked on a solitary journey of rediscovery. The sterile confines of her former life were replaced by the uncharted freedom of independence. As she settled into a modest apartment that now symbolized both an end and a new beginning, the echoes of past betrayals gradually gave way to the tentative hope of reinvention. The pain was still raw, and every corner of her new home whispered memories of a life left behind. Yet, beneath the surface of heartache, a quiet determination emerged, a promise to herself that she would no longer allow others to dictate her worth. Amidst this tumult of emotions and fresh starts, fate intervened unexpectedly. Julian, whose presence had lingered on the fringes of her thoughts ever since she had first become aware of his quiet interest, reappeared in her life in an unanticipated yet profoundly meaningful way. Reaching out with genuine concern, he offered her not only a position at his thriving company, but also a compassionate ear and a steady hand in navigating the rocky terrain of her recovery. Julian's invitation was more than a professional lifeline. It was a subtle message of hope. His warm smile and earnest eyes promised a sanctuary from the isolation that had so long defined her existence. Yet, as grateful as Elena was for this unexpected connection, her heart was a battleground of conflicting emotions. The scars of betrayal were still fresh, and every tender gesture from Julian was met with a cautious skepticism born from years of neglect. She found herself torn between the magnetic pull of a man who embodied passion and the lingering fear of opening her heart to another loss. In quiet moments, Elena would sit by her window, lost in thought, wondering if she was truly ready to embrace the possibility of a love that was both fierce and nurturing. Julian, too, sensed the inner conflict that haunted her. His approach was gentle and unassuming, an earnest attempt to bridge the chasm of doubt with understanding and patience. He spoke of new beginnings and of a future where the past's painful echoes would be replaced by the promise of care and devotion. As their conversations deepened and the tentative barriers around Elena's heart began to soften, the connection between them blossomed into something undeniable. In that fragile space between vulnerability and hope, both Elena and Julian sensed that their meeting was more than mere chance. It was the spark of a profound transformation waiting to unfold. In the dim glow of a late autumn evening, the simmering tension between Elena and Julian finally found its voice in a moment of undeniable passion. The connection that had grown steadily since their fateful reunion exploded into an intimacy that both startled and delighted them. Julian, with his intense gaze and unwavering determination, gently led Elena into a world where her fears were momentarily forgotten, replaced by the warmth of desire and the thrill of genuine connection. In his embrace, Elena felt for the first time that she was truly seen, her inner depths acknowledged and cherished. Their night together was more than a physical union. It was a profound merging of souls. Julian's possessiveness, at times bordering on fierce protectiveness, was not an act of control, but a declaration that he would fight for the love that he saw as so desperately needed in her life. In every whispered promise and tender caress, he made it clear that she was worth every effort, every sacrifice. For Elena, whose days had been marked by the cold routine of indifference, this newfound passion was both exhilarating and terrifying. The stark contrast between the loveless solitude of her past and the vibrant intensity of this encounter left her trembling with both joy and a cautious hope. As dawn crept over the horizon, the memory of that night lingered like the soft echo of a long-forgotten song. Elena lay awake, heart pounding with the remnants of Julian's touch, and pondered the possibility that life could indeed be filled with such profound love. Yet, even in the midst of this ecstasy, a part of her remained wary, haunted by the ghosts of past betrayals and the pain of isolation. Julian, ever attentive, sensed her inner hesitation and vowed silently to prove that his affection was steadfast and true. His determination to protect the fragile beauty of what they had kindled was unwavering. In the hours that followed, their connection deepened through shared vulnerability and unspoken promises. Each look, each touch, became a reaffirmation that the scars of the past need not dictate the future. For Elena, the night marked a turning point, a moment when she dared to believe that passion, tenderness, and a genuine commitment could coexist in a world that had once seemed so barren. In Julian's arms, she found not just a lover, but a guardian of her heart, willing to challenge the shadows of a painful history with the bright promise of love renewed. News of Elena's transformation and her burgeoning bond with Julian eventually reached Victor, igniting a storm of emotions he could no longer suppress. Once accustomed to the quiet rhythm of his detached existence, Victor now found himself grappling with a fierce surge of jealousy and wounded pride. One brisk evening, unable to contain the tumult within, he made his way to the very place where Elena and Julian were spending time together, a public setting where the unspoken drama was about to unfold before the eyes of onlookers. The atmosphere shifted palpably as Victor's unexpected arrival broke the delicate cocoon of intimacy that had enveloped Elena and Julian. His presence, marked by a cold fury and a palpable sense of betrayal, sent ripples of tension through the gathering. Victor's words, laced with bitterness and regret, cut through the silence. He accused Elena of betrayal and denounced Julian's influence as nothing more than a reckless dalliance. The confrontation was raw and unfiltered, a public showdown that forced both Elena and Julian to face the painful echoes of their past. Julian, however, met Victor's hostility with a calm yet unwavering resolve. In a voice that resonated with both passion and conviction, he declared that Elena was not a prize to be claimed by bitterness or regret. Each word was a bold reaffirmation of his deep commitment to her, a declaration that the love they shared was founded on a trust and intensity that Victor had never known. As the confrontation reached its crescendo, Julian's act of drawing Elena close, displaying a tenderness in defiance of Victor's accusations, became a powerful symbol of his devotion. In that moment, amidst the harsh glare of disapproval and the weight of past mistakes, it was clear that the old world of indifference was yielding to a future defined by passion and integrity. For Elena, the scene was both painful and liberating. The stinging words of Victor, though meant to wound, served to underscore the reality of her former life, a life of neglect that she had finally escaped. With trembling determination, she met Victor's gaze, silently affirming that her heart now belonged to someone who cherished her wholly. The public declaration, charged with emotion and defiance, marked a turning point in their intertwined stories. It was a moment when the past was laid bare, and the promise of a future built on mutual respect and unyielding passion began to crystallize. Even as the onlookers bore witness to the confrontation, Elena's inner strength shone through, a quiet yet undeniable beacon of a life reclaimed and a love that would no longer be overshadowed by the ghosts of indifference. In the quiet aftermath of public upheaval, as the dust of confrontation settled, Julian knew that the time had come to cement the promise of a new beginning. With every beat of his heart echoing a commitment that had grown stronger through trials and shared vulnerability, he began planning a moment that would forever change the course of their lives. One cool evening, beneath a canopy of starlight in a secluded garden, Julian knelt before Elena. His eyes, warm with genuine tenderness, searched hers for a silent answer. There, amidst soft rustling leaves and the gentle hum of nocturnal life, he offered her not just a ring, but a lifetime of devotion. Julian's proposal was imbued with the wisdom of a man who had known both triumph and loss. He spoke earnestly about the journey that had led them to this moment, the sorrow of past betrayals, the healing that had followed, and the fervent hope that lay ahead. His words, imbued with both passion and vulnerability, painted a picture of a future where love was not measured in grand gestures alone, but in the quiet, everyday acts of care. For Elena, the proposal was a revelation, a turning point where the scars of the past began to give way to the promise of a brighter tomorrow. As she listened, her heart swelled with a mixture of cautious optimism and deep, abiding affection. Tears glistened in her eyes as she recalled the long, lonely months of neglect and the gentle ways in which Julian had stepped into that void, replacing sorrow with the warmth of genuine love. In that tender moment, Elena realized that she was not merely accepting a proposal. She was embracing a future where she would be cherished, understood, and respected. The ring, a delicate symbol of their renewed hope, sparkled softly as she whispered her heartfelt acceptance. Her yes was not just a promise to Julian, but to herself, a commitment to never settle for a life of muted pain again. Surrounded by the quiet magic of the night and the steady beat of their hearts in unison, they sealed their newfound union with a kiss that spoke of fresh beginnings and the profound possibility of a love that could heal every past wound. The day of the wedding dawned with a radiant promise of hope and renewal. In a sunlit garden, bursting with seasonal blooms and gentle laughter, Elena and Julian gathered with close family and friends to celebrate not only their union, but the triumph of the human spirit over isolation and despair. Every detail of the ceremony was a testament to a journey from darkness into light. As Elena walked down an aisle lined with soft petals and heartfelt wishes, she felt the weight of her past lifting with every step. There was a palpable sense of rebirth in the air, a promise that the love they had discovered would sustain them in even the stormiest times. Julian, standing at the altar with quiet confidence and deep emotion, couldn't take his eyes off Elena. To him, she embodied the very essence of resilience and grace. Their vows, exchanged in gentle tones and sincere declarations, resonated with the collective hope of everyone present. Each promise, of respect, of unwavering devotion, and of cherishing every fleeting moment, was a pledge to honor the journey that had led them here. In that sacred space, surrounded by the genuine warmth of loved ones, the couple sealed their commitment with a kiss that seemed to rewrite the narrative of their lives. The celebration continued long into the evening, with laughter, dancing, and stories of past hardships now transformed into triumphs. Their honeymoon, a secluded retreat far removed from the echoes of their former lives, became a private haven where each sunrise marked a new chapter in their shared adventure. Every moment was imbued with an intense, palpable joy, a silent promise that the future would be written with kindness, passion, and mutual respect. As the stars took their place in the velvet sky, Elena and Julian stood together, hand in hand, ready to embrace a life defined not by the shadows of regret, but by the luminous promise of a love reborn. Years flowed by, and with each passing season, the love between Elena and Julian deepened into something extraordinary. Their life together was a canvas, painted with both bold strokes and delicate details, the kind of love that grows richer with time. Julian remained as steadfast and passionate as the day he first declared his devotion, while Elena blossomed into a radiant woman whose smile now lit up every room. Their shared experiences, moments of laughter, challenges overcome, and quiet evenings of heartfelt conversation became the building blocks of a relationship that was both resilient and tender. Julian's unwavering dedication was evident in every aspect of their everyday life. From the way he eagerly anticipated small gestures of affection, to the way he always made time to listen to Elena's dreams and fears, he made her feel valued and cherished. For Elena, this life was a far cry from the barren emotional landscape of her past. Under Julian's care, she discovered a newfound confidence, a sense that she was finally living the life she had once only dared to imagine. Together, they transformed mundane routines into meaningful rituals, each day a celebration of the love that had rescued them both. Their home, filled with mementos of adventures taken and quiet moments shared, stood as a living testament to their journey. It was here that they built a sanctuary of warmth and understanding, a place where the scars of yesterday were gently tended to by the healing power of genuine affection. In every smile, every tender touch, there was a silent promise that they would continue to honor the beauty of their shared past while embracing an ever brighter future. Elena's heart, once burdened by doubt and loneliness, now overflowed with gratitude and hope. In the glow of this everlasting love, she realized that true devotion was not measured by grand gestures alone, but by the quiet consistency of care over time. In the soft twilight of a life transformed, Elena often found herself reflecting on the winding path that had led her from despair to a love so profound it seemed to transcend time itself. Once a woman lost in the numbness of a loveless marriage, she had blossomed into a vibrant soul whose heart now beat in harmony with Julian's unwavering devotion. The memory of those dark days, when she felt invisible and unworthy, had faded into a distant echo, replaced by the radiant symphony of shared dreams and tender moments. In quiet moments of reflection, Elena recalled the pivotal decisions that had reshaped her destiny, the painful discovery of betrayal, the courageous step into the unknown, and ultimately, the serendipitous meeting with Julian. Each memory was a thread in the tapestry of their lives, a story woven with resilience, passion, and the simple transformative power of genuine care. Julian's love had been a beacon in the darkness, guiding her away from a past marred by indifference and towards a future filled with promise and hope. Their journey, marked by moments of fervent passion, public declarations of commitment, and the quiet intimacy of everyday life, was a testament to the healing power of love. Elena no longer measured her worth by the hollow promises of a bygone era, but by the deep, abiding connection she shared with the man who had shown her how to be truly seen. As the years turned into cherished memories, and the challenges of life were met with the steady resolve of two hearts united, their love grew stronger, ever evolving, yet constant in its sincerity. Now, with each new day, Elena embraced the truth that love, when nurtured with compassion and respect, could conquer even the deepest wounds. In the gentle cadence of their shared life, she discovered that every smile, every touch, and every quiet word of affection was a celebration of a love that would never fade. It was a love that, having withstood the tests of time and tribulation, shone as brightly as the first spark of hope that had set her on this remarkable journey.